Anila, can you introduce yourself? Usman, can you introduce yourself? Yes, Usman, you can introduce yourself.
Hey, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Hey, sorry. So far, I didn't hear any of the voice what you speaking. So yeah, this is Tariq here. You can call me as a Tariq. So yeah, this is the first session, so I'm just attending. I don't know what is going to happen, and I just saw the AWS engineering data. So right now, my profession is I'm working as a product owner and comes business system analyst in the Wells Fargo. So I'm just want to upgrade myself in the technical. One is on the data engineering, AWS or Azure. I don't have an idea where to step into it. So that's why I just got a message about this training and which is going on. This is going to be the demo, I believe.
Yeah, today we're going to have a demo
Yeah,
session.
already. Yeah, and my already I have like some experience in the SQL. That is the usual as a business system analyst. So working as AWS. So the migrations and all have been worked on. So far, like I never worked with Python, only with the Java team and SQL. I've been working on.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, working on the Postman and then API. That's all the backend details. Just stepping
Satish?
into the next professional, like that's the reason. Like I'm planning to get into the migration into the cloud actually. So that's why I'm like whether I want to take AWS or whether I wanted to go for Azure. So that's where I want to get into more.
Sure, sure. Satish?
Hi, my name is Satish, and I'm from totally like non-IT background, but I studied project management. I have some project management experience. I'm totally new to the AWS and data engineering stream, so that's why I'm here to attend the demo session and see how it goes. Thank you.
Sure. So, just to give a background about this course, AWS Data Engineering. So, AWS Data Engineering focus on the starter who have, I'll not say negligible, but have a basic knowledge on technical aspect like they know Python a bit, they know SQL a bit, and we will focus on building a pipeline and learning the core concept. And after learning that, it does not depend whether you are having a AWS or Azure or GCP. For example, let's say you learn PySpark. So PySpark is a global, what we say, standard library or a standard process that help you to process very big amount of data. You learn, let's say, data warehousing concepts like slow moving data, fast moving data, stars, snowflake, schema. That has been applied across the cloud. Or you learn the Kafka for the real time streaming, or you learn the MongoDB, the SQL queries, the Python, the Pandas data manipulations, Python automation. So the goal here is to cover all the basic concepts and the technology that helps you to require build a data pipeline. There will be services that are specifically linked to those particular cloud, but more or less our focus is learning on what are the more core concepts of the data engineering as a whole. When we talk about AWS, we will be covering starting with the identity access management, S3 bucket, Lambda function, EC2 instances, EMR instances, AWS Glue, AWS Athena. AWS Step Function, Transfer Family, Kinesis, Redshift. In order to work on these services, let's say for example AWS Glue, you have to know the PySpark. If you are in Azure, you need to know the Databricks. Databricks is becoming a very relevant nowadays, so even people working on AWS are using Databricks as a platform and AWS as a what we say a cloud compute. So we'll try to peek into the Databricks world also. So slowly and gradually, it's gaining attraction a lot in data engineering world. Okay. So before we go forward, do you guys have any questions?
No.
Can you give me a little bit introduction about the pipeline and other thing? Because as
We'll start. No, we'll start it.
okay,
I hope you guys can say this. See the screen. See, the first part is the data generation part. The data is generated by multiple sources. It could be you going crossing a tool booth, or your IoT devices in your own home appliances, or a train running at 180 kilometer per hour, and will try to see what's the real time location and what's the current status of this. Just a second. So these are data generation. Maybe your log files, website log, click events, your Twitter data, the data which is generating in the factories from PLC devices. You want to track what's the electricity generated from the solar power plant, hydropower plant. Can you guys give me more example from where the data get generated?
from an Excel sheet.
Yeah, Excel sheet. What could be the source of the data? Like maybe logistic data. It could be medical data. It could be CRM data, HR data, trading data, accounts data. Anything else?
Tableau or Power BI.
See, Tableau and Power BI are the tools. Here, what will be the source of the data? The data generation itself, how the data is getting generated. What's the starting point?
You mean from the database SQL you're asking?
Yeah, generation, like what activities we perform that lead to generation of data.
So we'll create the files actually. So different types are like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then we'll store it in the database. And then
Yeah, that's a process. That's a process that we follow.
uh
The question is like, say, you do insurance, right? We do insurance. The data is getting generated. You do a medical bill. So there's the accounts data is getting generated. So in that term, let's say you do a trading, there the data is getting generated. Okay. So there are multiple ways the data got generated. You open a website, go through 10 websites. Your history, browsing history is the data.
So it
There
depends,
are,
like, yeah, it depends on the model, how it is working. For it's a something we can, if it's a small, very small website, it can run.
yeah, we'll come to that later part, like, from where the first is like, what could be the source of data that as a data engineer you need to imagine. You need to imagine that when you are crossing a toll booth, there also data is getting generated, which is connected to a real-time dashboard that is showing how many vehicles are passing. When you do a transaction at a retail shop, there it's also a engineering pipeline where we, in the lifetime, real time, show the fraud detection and process your results and tell whether it's a genuine card or not and deduct the amount and ledger and all that stuff. So the first point that you need to imagine is like, what are the points where the data got generated? And we realize our each and every moment lead to the data generation. Your payroll data, your HR data, maybe you're doing some training, that training data, your log files, your click events, satellite data, geospatial data, mining data, audio data, video data, PDF, HTML, XML, data relying on the SQL servers, Postgres servers, MongoDB servers, log files, text files. These all are data for us, getting generated at different locations. Excel files, CSV files. Okay. So
This
data engineering.
assume like here, like I remember, like there'll be like availability zones and regions, right? The same kind of things you're trying to tell.
No, no, that's a different thing. That's about the infrastructure side. Here I'm just
So,
talking about as a concept the data generation, like how the data get generated, from where you will get the data, what are the source of the data. Maybe you are having a company which provide the bus services, and you will having a GPS device on there. You want to track your bus on a real time and do the post analysis of it, whether it's on time, it's on delayed. So that GPS data is the data for you. So what I try to mean that in the present world, earlier it used to be just a CRM like payroll system, HR system, but now it's such a huge area where each and every actions of yours is generating a data, and it's not a just a plain tabular data you have. Like it's not a just row and column. It like we need to do the audio processing in the real time. We need to do a translation of the video, decoding of the video, convert audio to the five multiple languages. So what I'm trying to say is that these are the data generation where the data is getting generated at multiple locations, multiple places, multiple events that lead to the data generation. So if the generation data is out there, once the data gets generated, then the role of a data engineer come into the picture. So your role as a data engineer, the first task is to capture the data that is being generated. That's called data ingestion. What's the first role as a data engineer you have? What's the first task that you will be performing in this pipeline? Let's say, for example, there is a marketing company who have just launched a product on a Twitter and doing the advertisement of it. and they want to know how my product is doing based on the comments of the user in the comment section. Now they want to do the sentimental analysis of that how their marketing is going on. In order to do the sentimental analysis, they need the data in a correct format. So as a data engineer, the question is how you will gonna bring that Twitter data into your DB so that the data science team can do a sentimental analysis on top of it and say whether our ad is performing good or bad. So Satish, how you will bring the data from the Twitter?
Maybe I'm assuming that like based upon the number of views, number of actions upon the.
That's the metric that you are saying. I'm saying like how you gonna bring the data? Like the data is with Twitter, right?
Okay.
The data is got generated. The you launched a campaign, people watched it, and all that stuff happened.
Okay.
I'm saying how you will bring the data from Twitter to your platform so that you can perform the sentimental analysis.
I believe it's some tool that generates information and transfer.
Through
Uh,
through an
Tarek,
open API. So through an open API. So if it depends. So if, for example, if we are anything need to be shared with the Google Drive, so we will have the common Google API. So I'll be gathering by paying the license data from the third parties.
exactly. So there, what we are trying to do, you're trying to ingest the data into your system.
Yep.
So that's called data ingestion.
Mm.
So basically, what we are doing is, Satish, we use a API where you request certain data from the platform and they provide you the data. For that, you need to pay the certain amount to them. Sometimes it's free, most of the time it's free,
Okay.
and sometimes you need to pay.
Sorry, what is the API again?
API is basically a request service. How you create a web, how you type a website, right? Like google.com or facebook.com, and all the
Okay.
data get appear on your screen. So that's a website, okay? What you see in the front end. But in the API, it's a URL that you request, which you don't have any UI. So you just request to the server that look, I need this data, and the server will return you the result if you authenticated successfully.
Okay. Okay.
Now, one way is to get through the API if it's case of the data is present in the other platform. Next is, let's say suppose you have a HR data which is in a SQL transactional where we are noting which employee is joining, who is which salary, who is which manager, and all that stuff. Now I want to calculate, let's say we want to bring it to the centralized repository. So from that also you need to do the data ingestion. So for that, what you will do, you will establish a JDBC connection between your pipeline and the that HR CRM is there. Let's say there is some video file out there that need to get processed. So you will ingest that video file to uploading. There are some audio file. There could be a what we say geostat data. So the first thing as a data engineer, you will do the data ingestion. And for data ingestion, there are different kind of tools to ingest the data. As you use the AWS, there will be certain tools. As you use the Azure, there will be certain tools. But the point, the conceptual thing is that data ingestion will take place. Okay. So data got generated somewhere. Now you will building a pipeline, and in that pipeline, the first thing is to ingest that data. Bring that data into your platform. Bring that data into your platform.
What is the name of the platform, if you don't mind?
It's name of the platform will keep on changing based on the company to company. Okay, someone may be using Informatica is there, Snowflake is there, Databricks is there, AWS is there, Azure is there. So the platform keep on changing based on which company you're working on. So once the data is generated, the point is what kind of data. So you need to remember it's just not about the Excel file. It's going to be about audio file, video file, text file, CSV file, Excel file, data in the SQL servers, Twitter data, all that data you need to consider. You need to know the data scrapping also, how to scrap a data from the internet. Do you guys know data scrapping? Means heard about it? Satish, sorry,
No.
Prashant. So data scrapping is a way to scrap the information from the website and convert that into a useful information. For example, let's say we have this just share my screen. Let's say I go to a website, government electric generation portal India. I think it's not working right now. For example, say this is 2023. This is 2023 National Electricity Plan, and this is data in a PDF format, just XMP file. Let's say I need to download this data. And remember, in data engineering, you won't be doing 99% of the things will be done by code, not by manual. So how you will, let's say this data get produced every day. For example, let's say every day you need to download the data. In the same way, there are like kind of 10 websites. And from the 10 website, every day I need this kind of data. So for that, you will do a web scraping. Web scraping means in the background, it will open the file, it will navigate this particular link, download the data, put that into a specific folder, uh, process that, and put that into a DB. That's called data scrapping. If you look at that formal definition of the data scrapping, it's also known as web scraping or web data extraction is the process of automatically extracting data from the website or other online resources. So data scrapping is a very big business, and there are certain tools that help you to do the data web scrap. Okay. Now, going back, once you ingest the data, what's the next thing that you guys need to do? The storage. So during our process, we will try to understand first what is the different ingestion services we have out there for the AWS. Let's say the Kinesis or the Kafka. Through that, we could get multiple different kind of data sets, or through the API or through the IoT devices. Are you guys able to see the screen? Okay. For example, let's see. We have this. Okay. Let's say this is our cloud platform, AWS. I request you guys to create this AWS account, the free tier AWS account. This is how AWS portal will look like. Now, conceptually, what we need to do first, we need to bring on the data. So for that, we have a Kinesis platform. Kinesis is a platform that will help you to bring real-time data,
Can
collect,
you
process, analyze the streams in a real time.
zoom it a little bit? Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, much better. Thank you.
So same way, we have multiple services that help you to collect the data. For example, you have this IoT hub. So what this IoT hub does, it connect with the devices, IoT devices in your home or any IoT devices out there that connect, test, and manage your IoT devices and bring the IoT data to this AWS platform. Okay. You have AWS transfer family. You have AWS transfer family. So using SF2P and FTP services help you to migrate data from the external location, from the client location to this your environment. So that's how we do the data ingestion. Once the data ingestion happen, what's the next thing we need to do? Any idea?
Sorry, I missed the question.
Once you do the data ingestion, let's say this data ingestion process completed, what's the next part in the data engineering life cycle we have?
Transformation.
We have storage.
Yeah, storage.
So there are different kind of storage for different kind of data, but initially we will store everything in a data lake. So you will heard this term multiple times that will be called as a data lake. Can you read this definition of a data lake? Hello. Satish,
Yeah.
yeah, what's the data lake? What you are able to understand from here? What's data lake?
Um, to my understanding, it's a kind of like a storage, like a cloud storage, like store all kind of data that's in a different format, like as it said, like semi and unsemi structure, and more with the original format or native format.
Exactly. So a data lake is a centralized repository where you bring all the data that you have ingested. You may be bringing data through API, you may be bringing data through the different services, or uploading a flat file, uploading Excel file, CSV file. So when you look at this image here, data lake. So data lake act like this. So not a good resolution. Just give me a second. Where data coming from multiple sources come into the data lake in a raw format. Okay. I hope the data lake is clear.
Yeah.
So you do the data ingestion, you store that into data lake. After that, transformation happens. Now the question is, what kind of transformation you want to have? What is the amount of data on which you are doing the transformation? And before going there, just S3 bucket is our data lake in the AWS. So we'll be studying S3 bucket in detail. What is buckets, data, different zones, replication, different storage type, versioning, different policies, access policies, all that stuff we will be. How to automate this process, Boto 3, all that stuff we'll be covering there in the S3. Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So in the pipeline, I understand like we do the injection, then we need transformation, then it go to the storage. But in between, that doesn't the data get analyzed or scrutinized, like where it goes?
That you will be defining it, right? That as a data engineer, it's your responsibility to define what are the tools you're using for ingestion, and after ingestion, where you're gonna store it in a raw format. So that's gonna be your job.
Okay, thank you.
Once you do the ingestion, then store the raw data, then you do the transformation. So for transformation, there are two things in transformation. First, whether your data size is small or your data size is big. Let's say I want to do a transformation of 2 terabyte of data. So how you will do that? So to transform 2 terabyte of data, you will be using a Spark. You will be using Spark. You have to have the knowledge of Apache Spark. You have to have knowledge on Apache Spark. And for the smaller data set, which is around 100 MB, you need to know about the pandas. You need to know about the pandas. So we will be covering this pandas in detail. What are the transformation you're gonna do? Filter group by having clause, then splitting the column, creating a new column, transforming your data, ordering, manipulation of the data sets. All that thing will become in the transformation. Okay. In the S3, you will be using a glue to transform your data. So this is a Spark script, Glue and Spark Python script is there. So thing about Glue is that you can also use the visual representation drag and drop services. There you will be have a data ingestion sources from where you want to ingest data. Snowflake, Google BigQuery, Teradata, Vertica, SAP HANA, Azure Cosmos, Zoom, Stripe, Instagram data, LinkedIn data, Salesforce data, Domo, Circle, WooCommerce. So you just name it, all the data sources are available. You do the ingestion, it will get stored, then you do the transformation, like join, aggregate, custom transform, drop duplicates, drop field, null values, filter, all these things you will be doing.
So these are the different types of data.
No, different type of data is in sources.
Okay, okay,
So you bring different kind of data through sources, then you do the transformation. These are what
okay.
kind of maths you want to apply. You want to rename a field. You want to select a specific field. You want to filter the data.
Can I change the format too?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay.
It's totally up to you. So for that, most of the time, just a second. Most of the time you will be writing a script like this. So these are Spark script that help you to process large amount of data. So before studying Glue, we will be studying AWS Spark. We will be studying about the cluster, parallel processing, all that concepts you will be studying. How you process the data parallelly. If you have 10 terabyte of data, how you can filter those data out there. So all that thing we're gonna cover. Once you have the ingestion, we do the storage, we do the transformation through pandas and the Spark, then you do the servicing. Serving you will be doing through Redshift. Redshift is a platform which is a data warehouse where after performing the ETL, you will be putting your data in here. The transformed data will live here. It's a fast, fully managed petabyte scale cloud data warehouse. So before studying it, we need to understand what is data warehouse. It's a core concept that is utilized across the cloud, doesn't matter which cloud you're using. Using the same principles, we will be working on the Amazon Redshift. Creating tables, ingesting the data, saving the data in a more efficient manner so that it could be querying as quickly as possible.
So Redshift is one of the data warehouse, which is
Yeah, one of the
common.
data warehouse vendors. Same like you have Snowflake.
All Azure.
Yep. Azure Synapses Analytics. Once you have this, then you need to run this part also, right? The whole ingestion, storage, transformation, serving. So that purpose, the two things. One is the glue. So you see, it's called an ETL. So you will be defining an ETL.
You can have it either a visual ETL or a script editor or a notebook, depend upon the requirements. So you'll be defining an ETL, and you will also be defining when you're going to run your job. We'll be covering all those other thing: data catalog, database table, crawlers, connections, all that thing. But the main thing of the glue is that it acts as an ETL tool. It's a ETL tool. Apart from that, to schedule your pipeline, we have a step function also. That we will be covering. If you want to see the, let's see the sample. So this kind of template pipeline we will do. These are complex pipelines where you will initialize a cluster and build a DB and load the data set, load the baseline data, execute customer address, execute item data, check all that. So it's a e-commerce pipeline that check what is the fact loop. So don't worry about it. It's just a sample pipeline. Show another but smaller pipeline. Here in this, we're running a lambda function to generate example data, then load the data to the database, then query the first one, query the second one, get the result and send notification. Here we are using 4 services of the AWS, the lambda function, you're using Athena, you are using SNS and the step function. For that, how to generate it, you will be writing a code like this, which is a JSON based code. That will be covering in detail when we will cover the step function. So you have observed, like initially we started with building components. You build component ingestion, you build storage, you build transformation, and then you bring all of them together and build a pipeline. That's called ETL, extract, transform, load, or extract, load, transform. And on top of it, you have a security to take care of data management, data ops, data architecture, orchestration, software engineering. So it's a continuously evolving field. It's a very big field, data engineering. You are going to discover a lot of new things that happen behind the scene. Once you cover this, you will understand that when you swipe a credit card, what happened in the background and how everything get processed, how the data processed. You have a millions of records coming and how it get processed. When we say real-time dashboard, how the real-time dashboard really works, who serves the data, through which process data comes. So it's a very evolving field and very play a more dominant role and act as a backbone for the company. So yeah, any question you guys have in here? Guiding data engineering and as a whole, what you're gonna cover?
Like I can say it's not 100%, but I can able to sense it, like how it get injected, how it split it, and how do the transformation have, like before first it get to the storage, then it's transformation, then it's split, and I'm not sure about the ETL and other part.
So ETL is a tool that bring in all of it together and added the pieces.
Okay.
So you do all that and bringing all of them together in a single pipeline. That ingestion is happening, then storage, then transformation, then serving. So you write a script or you write a pipeline that perform all this stuff.
So the pipeline consists of transformation and serving.
Everything. Pipeline is a like a end-to-end thing. It's a generic term that say, okay, from where you're starting. I'm starting with the ingestion. what tool you're using ingestion, what data is coming there, then how you moving that data to the storage, to what folder, to what location, then to the transformation. Are they using pandas or PySpark? That you will be defining. From where you need to pick the data. Are you picking the data from SQL Server or S3 bucket, or you want additional data from the CSV files or some business instructions. Once you transform the data, I'll again so save it to the Redshift. So pipeline is like combining all the processes together and scheduling it. Like, okay, this has to run at 12 o'clock every day. Or this has to run 2 times in a day, once in a week, once in a month. So data engineering is mostly it's about the automation that you will be doing. That once you build a pipeline, okay, it will keep on running. It will send notification, it will send mail, it will send Slack notification, everything it will do without a human intervention once you build a pipeline.
What is the role of the data engineer in a day-to-day basis?
Data engineer role is to first make sure that data is coming to the platform and then it is getting stored,
Okay.
and you need to write a lot of transformation script. Like you want to do some calculation, you want to aggregate the data, you want to clean the data, remove duplicate records,
So
that
from
you need to.
transformation, the role starts and serving, then it,
From data ingestion role start.
oh, data injection. Okay.
Yeah. From data ingestion to bringing data to the data warehouse where you are storing the process data. From then the analytics team, machine learning team, and all the different team will come and start consuming the data.
Okay.
So data engineer role is to make sure the data is available in the correct format, so that if I write a query, I could fetch it easily. I don't get stuck. All the data should be available on time. There should not be any missing data. So currently I'm working for a bank, and each and every piece of information is very crucial. We always make sure, so there is a lot of data engineering we perform on a day-to-day basis.
So
So
the
data
machine
engineer
learning,
role, yeah.
so the machine learning team consume our code or script.
Consume your data.
Yeah, consume it. Okay.
Okay, then yeah, that's it for today. So based on the different part, we have a different services out there that will be covering over a duration of 2.5 months. If you guys have any question, let me know. I will gonna have our regular session from Wednesday onwards. Every day, same time, 1 hour, 5 days a week. Okay.
And
You
just
guys have
one
any?
last quick question.
Yep.
So after the course completion, the marketing is taken care by Naresh.
Yep. He will be taking care of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks everyone.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.